Hi everybody, welcome back to Between Shelf and Screen. I'm Alex,
I'm Ryan.
and today we'll be going over Carrie the movie. I almost forgot it.
You almost forgot to watch it too.
Yeah.
He's here. He doesn't. You just wanted to actually watch it together. So get ready, guys. Okay. Let's also first cover. We watched the 2013, the most recent.
Yeah, I didn't realize there was a bajillion adaptations.
I didn't either. I thought it was only the 1976.
I don't know why I thought it was just like the 2013 one.
Because I think you only thought it was the 2013 one.
Yeah, because I actually remember seeing the ads for it, and I was just like, "Oh, that looks good," because I was just then getting into horror movies. But
I feel like this wasn't even really a horror movie.
Yeah.
I feel like it was more of just like a drama with a paranormal or supernatural aspect.
yeah, I mean, should we get into ratings already?
Yeah.
Do you want to do that?
So, yes, we watched the
You first.
2013 Carrie, and I will say it was not that accurate to the book. Well, it was about mid-level. It followed the
Yeah.
same story, but it left a lot of stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get into it. Most of it wasn't all that important, and it kind of it followed what it was supposed to. You get the same idea, I would say, from the movie, but not completely accurate. And none of the characters were really how I expected them.
Or memorable.
Okay, I disagree with that, but
Maybe Tommy. Sorry, go on.
But I feel like they changed a lot of the characters in
They modernized it.
yes, that too. I honestly really liked it.
You did?
Overall, my enjoyment level of watching it was up there. I liked the movie. I thought it had its issues. It's definitely not a 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
I'd probably rank this a solid 4.
Or
4 out of 5,
do the
but-
really bad.
Yeah, I would say that this is probably a good out of very good.
Yeah.
Adaptation.
By the way, sorry, yeah, I'm probably missing this. The ranking that I like to use and will use a lot is really bad, okay, good, really good.
Yeah.
Very simple.
Just to generalize it. And it helps. It makes it easier for comparing the two, because we can also say I would just say it's an all right adaptation and okay, but you're straight in the middle adaptation. But I thought it was good movie overall. What about you? And I'll get into why the issues I've had with it and the things that I liked after we hear about your.
Right now, I want to just say bad. Bad on... The adaptation was okay. Rating it on that, but just... I did not like the movie. I did not like it at all. I was sitting there and was just like... I don't know, the acting wasn't that bad. I just think that, certain parts of the script that they wrote for the movie, the dialogue was just cringe. It was like when the director was trying to, add in stuff, they're like, well, this would sound better on the screen, but somehow it didn't.
I feel like it had 2013 written all over it.
Literally, yeah, no, that's what I was thinking too. It was making me cringe.
It was very dated, which was one of the things I didn't like about it, especially how the cinematography was, how it was filmed, just screamed 2010s.
It did, and I don't know about you, but I thought maybe this is something that went away, especially with movies now. But the soundtrack was just.
Soundtrack made no sense.
The soundtrack it was just always there. It's this moment doesn't need that.
Yeah, and it especially the end song, I was so mad about that. It made 0 sense.
Yeah, they're just here's an edgy, cool,
yeah, literally
grungy sound.
Yeah, the soundtrack and the cinematography, I hated. Genuinely, some of the reasons I did not like the cinematography, I hated the repeating scenes in different camera angles. First of all, very dated. Second of all, not necessary.
It felt like a Bollywood film.
Yeah, it was not it made you. If this was trying to be horror, that completely took away from it.
I was not scared at any point.
Yeah, especially when it repeats it 3 times from different angles.
Yeah, and it wasn't even gory.
It really wasn't. And then Another thing, the slow-mo.
Yes,
Like,
it has to be done well. It has to.
And very rarely is it actually done well.
Yeah.
And so I don't like when slow-mo's used, and this was especially just, it was overused and it was just not done correctly.
Yeah.
And it peeved me off. I also hated the camera shots. Like, there really weren't any that I was impressed with, and I hated when they would zoom, like, in conversations, especially like 1v1 conversations when they were like fighting.
Yeah, when they were like versing each other.
But when it was one-on-one conversations, like they'd switch to each face when they were talking, right? Which is fine, but it was so close, and it was like a dead-on camera shot. It wasn't from different angles. It was just like straight at their face, and then they were looking a little to the side, which of course I don't want them looking to the camera, but it just felt so uncomfortable, and I hated it. It was way too close.
It just felt like, okay, some parts of the book were accurately represented.
Yeah.
And it was following, like, it felt like Stephen King's at certain points, but then
and it was chronological. Like it followed the same plots at the same time.
But then it would tonally shift to what felt like a young adult, like Stranger Things.
Yeah, like more of a.
And there was one line that really cringed me. I can't even remember like the scene.
You just were like, man, that was terrible.
No, it was,
I got to get that out of my mind.
No, literally, because I think it's when. Oh no, it's when. Spoiler alert. It's when she's like having the house cave in around her, and she's like already killed her mom, and then Sue comes in. She's just like, "Let me help you," and then she's just like, "Why would you help me?" She's like, "I've been hurting my whole life." Or whatever. I'm just like, bruh. Like, who wrote this damn script?
Yeah.
Just use what the book has. Like, what?
Yeah, I think all the characters, besides the mom and Carrie, were done well. I liked all the other characters.
Wait, you didn't like the mom or Carrie?
I don't think that they were accurate to the characters in the book.
I thought they were probably the most accurate.
Really? I don't think that...
And Tommy.
Yeah. I don't think
Sue
that
was
the
like,
other...
Sorry.
I don't think the other characters were necessarily more accurate. I just liked their dynamic in the story. Like, they felt like high schoolers. Their conflict, like, it felt realistic, and I liked them a lot. I liked their addition to the story. They might not be completely accurate, but I felt like the mom was not as mean as she was. Maybe partially because they didn't show any of Carrie's background.
She wasn't, like, as freaky as she was in the book.
That, too. I was not expecting her to act at all how she did. And I feel like one of the biggest issues that I did have with this movie was that it made from the beginning her classmates the like main villain. Like, her mom really didn't come in until the very end, and I didn't like that because like I feel like the classmates were obviously a huge plot point in the book, and they were a big issue that Carrie was facing, but you could tell that the mom was really the instigator of a lot of this throughout the whole story in the book, but in the movie, it really didn't feel all that much. But I will say, taking this separate from the book, I thought it flowed fine for the movie. Like, if I wasn't comparing the two of, like, how accurate, I still enjoyed watching the movie and the series of films. Like, it still worked with what we had, and I still felt, like, intrigued with it, I guess.
Yeah. I think my biggest thing was just, like, when they wrote in the script at certain points, they didn't keep the same tone as the book had. And when they were going strictly off the book, like dialogue straight from the book or whatever, I was really enjoying it. And it felt like a very adultish depiction. Like,
yeah.
I can't really think of a good example right now, but it felt
I like the Billy and Pig, like that whole scene with Billy
like
and Chris. Yeah,
really
that
good.
was really good, and I felt like probably the most gruesome and like.
Yeah, that part was just
Yeah, which, hot take. I don't know if other people are gonna agree with me, but like when I see my boyfriend like hit a pig, like just totally smash its brain, like I'm not like really into that. Like, kind of a red flag to me.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's kind of weird.
I noticed in the movie too. It seemed like Chris was actively enjoying that so much more.
Yeah, than in the book.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was thinking. I just couldn't remember if I was remembering it wrong. But
Yeah,
I feel like
yeah, because Chris was like, she was like put off.
Yeah, in the book.
Yeah, she was like kind of hesitant to get into it. And Billy was just like the freak was just like, hey, we're gonna do this. You know, he had some weird kink going on.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, I mean I will say that he's as off-putting in the movie as he is in the book. Honestly, he's a little bit more off-putting in the book.
Yeah, because I think we had more time with him. Like we didn't have any of the bar scene.
Yeah.
And like when they were in the hotel room, like that wasn't in the movie because they were still at the end after they put the pig's blood.
Yeah.
They were still like in their car at the school, or like nearby. Like they didn't. I feel like in the book they had like they set it up and then they left and had like hours in between. Like they were asleep when they got the like call. Like, hey, the school's kind of burning down.
Yeah. Yeah. There's just so much about it that like between it had its times where it really shined. Like I would say like the beginning scene with Carrie in the locker room getting her period. I'm like that felt like straight out of the book.
Yeah, and that was so like, okay, I didn't necessarily like. Well, okay, I don't know if I didn't like the actress's acting, or if I just didn't like how the camera and the dialogue was given to her. Because I think she was a good actress, but like the things she said like was just off-putting, and that's what like I really didn't like Carrie. Like I think she was honestly my least favorite character, and I think part of that just has to do with the script. I don't want to put it on the actress.
Yeah, no, that's a common theme I'm seeing with these.
Okay.
I think a lot of it's like a lot of these adaptations in general. I feel like the actors generally do a pretty good job
With what they're given,
yeah,
you know.
they just need a good director and a good script, and then usually if they have those two, then it'll be really good.
Yeah.
But like if you don't have those two, like the actors don't really have much to go off of.
Yeah. But I think that scene was really good. It was just it also they like repeated. I think that was the first time where they like oh my gosh, again, it peeved me off. But other than that, it was like pretty accurate to the book. Yeah. It was probably one of the best shot scenes besides maybe the pig scene in my opinion. Another one actually, I also like the very beginning because I was not expecting like the whole birth scene.
Yeah.
Like
that was a good addition. That set the tone.
Yes, that like freaked me out for a little bit. Yeah. So, the start I feel like was really good. Like it started off really well, and then it just like there was like a dip, and it was slow in the middle. Oh, okay. So chronologically, we'll kind of run through the movie now, even though it kind of like went all over the place. So like we talked about the first scene, and then let's jump back to the locker room. So like one of the ways they modernized this was by having like it filmed, which I kind of like didn't hate that edition because obviously this was written. It wasn't terrible. Yeah, this was written at a time where there weren't phones. Right. Well, cell phones. Right. Yeah, sorry, I forgot that like landlines existed or whatever because I'm Gen Z, and you're not allowed to be recording me. Sorry. So, I like kind of liked that. I don't know. It added like a different take and it made it more relatable to people in this generation. Of like that definitely would have played a huge part, especially in like bullying. Yeah. Which was what was going on. Oh yeah. Speaking from one side of the dynamic. Yes. What side?
Oh, the bullier.
Oh, that's so funny because I was the bully.
Yeah. You idiot.
Oh yeah, this is just our dynamic. Yep. I thought it was switched though. I feel like I'm meaner.
No, she can be pretty ruthless. She'd be like, never mind.
Oh yeah?
I don't want to expose you like that.
I think you're just exposing all your flaws.
Am I?
Yeah, if you're saying all the things that I make fun of you for.
Yeah, you're right. I don't want to do that.
Just kidding. I'm sorry. I swear I'm not that mean.
She's just kidding.
Warning, warning, that was a joke.
Okay, let's get back to our regularly scheduled
So,
programming.
I think adding the phone was like, definitely would have played a part.
Yeah.
And it did like set it in, I think she was born in 1995. And
Yeah.
this movie was like actually taking place in 2003. Funny because it like came out in 2003. That's so silly.
I love it when they do that. But no, but I think it was good because like it ended up working in the plot in a way that like kind of made it match the movie in a way, because when Chris is in there talking to the principal, and then Miss Desjardins, I think her name.
Oh gosh, I don't
Yeah,
know.
and it's hard to say, but like she was sitting back there, and then the lawyer dad's going off on them. He's just like, well, you cursed at my daughter and yada yada, and then she goes, oh well, should have seen what your daughter filmed and posted on there, and then then the lawyer dad's like, all right, yeah, we're out.
Yeah, well, like, because then they were like, oh, prove that you just don't have the video and you're good to go. Clearly I was in the wrong and I'll apologize. And of course she was like, she had the video, so she wasn't going to show them. And her dad was like,
her dad's
seriously?
like, okay, wow.
We're out. We're not going to win this.
Yeah, and I like that. I thought that was pretty good. Especially for the modern adaptation, it made sense.
Yeah. I liked it, and it was like throughout, like it was a big plot point, I guess, and that's one of the things where like you can change a part of the story and it still works. Like you don't have to make a movie exactly like the book.
Yeah. Definitely.
Character-wise, like I feel like they're pretty consistent. Like kind of like how the book, like they really stay in their exact kind of
that kind of set.
Yeah.
Sue's barely in the movie, it felt like.
Really? Yeah. I thought like this whole movie was kind of set in her, obviously not point of view, because we see a lot of like Carrie on her own, but we didn't know what was going through Carrie's mind. More as like we get like Sue saying like, let's do this for Carrie. I feel bad because of what happened.
There was like, I feel like the most we got out of Sue was like right after they were in Tommy's car. And then, just talking to Miss Desjardins when it was her, Sue, Tommy, and then her, being like, don't mess this up for Carrie or whatever. And then, like, she's just like, well, I'm trying to do something nice, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, you just don't see her for the rest of the movie until the very end. And then she comes around, she's like, Carrie, I want to help you.
Well, it was kind of like that in the book, because obviously she wasn't at the prom. Which, one of the things they did change was in the movie, she did go to the prom.
Yeah,
and
she shows up and then everybody dies, and she's like,
what?
Yeah. But not everybody dies. She spares the gym coach.
Yeah, but I think she lived in the book too.
No, she didn't.
Oh, I thought she did.
Oh, she died. Everybody in the prom died.
Oopsie.
Every single person, yeah. And then I think the only one that did live was Sue.
I liked Sue's character, and it felt like them making the plan for Tommy to take Carrie out to the prom, like that whole like her starting to feel bad and expressing that, and then the way that Chris treated her of saying like it doesn't seem like you say that you feel bad but you're not doing anything about it, so like you want your perfect prom. Like it felt like it better transitioned into why Sue like said, Tommy, you should take her. I feel responsible, and so I shouldn't be going to this prom. And then he also responded in a more like, instead of just saying like, oh, okay, like he was like, I want to take you. Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
And when she finally just said, I'm not going, period. It decided like I liked their relationship more because the series of events felt more realistic than in the book. I feel like.
I think that's for me. The way I looked at it is that's just that generational gap, and like the movie translated it better for like people closer to our age, like because like in the
that's
book,
true.
Yeah, in the book like it was just kind of like a generational gap where the guy is just like.
That's what the
he's just like okay. He's like, never mind.
Yeah, you better stop yourself. But I get what you're saying in the way of like how things were written, how even movies went back. And whenever this was released, I still don't know when this book was released, but like it was written of just kind of like we're not going to fully express the feelings behind this. You just kind of, you compromise. You just go with whoever's saying what at this point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess I kind of get that. But, like, still, it was nice to get that dynamic between the two of them. And I like the dynamic between Chris, saying, like, are you really even doing this? Or are you just, you ran those laps because you just want your prom and you're not actually standing up for
right, yeah, that was
Carrie.
a good addition, too, now I think about it.
Yeah, so you like the movie now? Did I convince you? I'm so surprised that, like, you really didn't, like you didn't stay intrigued with it, or...
Not really. It was hard to pay attention. I won't lie. I was just not having a good time.
That's so funny, because I feel like this felt short up until probably right before the prom. It was a little slow.
Yeah.
There, when, like, also at this point, or I'll start into, like, when she kind of realized she had a power, she kind of was just like, oh, that's sweet. Now I'm gonna go to the library and look it up. It's like, I feel like she should have been more freaked out.
Yeah, I didn't like that addition either.
I didn't mind the library part, but I don't know. There wasn't a point where she was like, what the hell is going on? She just kind of accepted it immediately, which is weird. And they showed her, like, looking this kind of stuff up. Like, they had the traditional trope of, like, now we're gonna do a... What's it called?
Internet deep dive?
Yeah, kind of, where they show, like, the research process. And I was like, okay, that's a trope that I don't care to see because it's just so common. But, of course, if you find out you have abilities, I mean, speaking from personal experience, when I found out, I wanted to learn more so I could be even more powerful. But... it just kind of led nowhere. Like, it didn't show us anything that she found out. And, like, then at the end, she was like, I got this from our grandma. It's like, how do you know? When did this come up? Like,
literally, I don't think it added anything to the story at all.
Yeah.
And they could have kept that completely out and nothing would have changed. And even that one character that they introduced who came up and was trying to help Carrie.
I guess just to show, like, she doesn't know how to use technology because she was so...
but then, like, that guy was, like, I don't know, it felt like they were trying to introduce a character that's maybe, like, friendly to Carrie, or, like, interested even, but then that goes nowhere. I think he just died at the prom, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that was odd. I mean, I don't really know. The only way I could think is that they were just trying to show that she doesn't know what's going on with, most of the real life and technology and all that, but... I don't know. I didn't care for that addition because, like you said, it didn't lead anywhere. But, like, it kind of makes me believe that this wasn't in her perspective because, like, we didn't follow her. We didn't know what was going on in her mind, period. Yeah. Which I kind of didn't mind because that's kind of how it was in the book for a lot of it. I don't know. Or maybe they just felt lazy and didn't want to add the in between, and it was just like, okay, here's point A and here's point B. I don't know, but it didn't carry over, I guess is what we're trying to say. It didn't.
Nice.
I didn't even realize.
Nice.
Oopsie.
But the biggest thing that really irked me about this movie is just the tonal shifts between scenes, because we have the ones that were pulled straight out of the book. And it didn't really feel like a small town. Like, it...
I can see that,
yeah, like, it didn't feel like a small southern town where, like, everybody knows everybody. And, like, in the book, I felt like there was a lot more regional dialect. It's much more emphasis on, like, being secluded in this small town where everybody knows one another.
Yeah.
And at some points, they captured that. And then they'll have, like, dialogue that felt, like, straight out of the book that just felt, like, so authentic to the characters. And then all of a sudden we're back in YA Fantasyland. And it's just like trying to make the characters more, I guess, approachable for a younger audience. And it just
I think this was rated R.
Yeah, which I would like don't you feel like that was the same tonal shift? Because it really felt like that. Like I felt like I was watching like scenes from a different movie just thrown in there that like were just written by a script that was just kind of not well done.
Yeah, I think overall, like I still will say that I enjoyed this movie, and I would suggest it to people. I think the average viewer would watch it, but it but the issue does lie with the script, and I would say the cinematography plays a huge part in all the things I mentioned, but also that tonal shift. I think partially had to do with just how the like lighting and the shots were filmed, because it just felt too bright for that kind of movie and too happy. Like, and then that's where the script comes in, where it just didn't have the personality and it didn't have the kind of eerie overtone that you got throughout the whole book.
Yeah.
In every scene.
Just cliches, stupid lines that you hear, and you're just like, oh. That just really ruined it for me. And you know what? I may watch this another day. I may go back and then be nicer to her. Yeah, I might be nicer to it later on if I decide to go back and watch it. But for whatever reason, I think the tonal one's the big reason. But I just did not enjoy this. I really didn't.
I can get it. If you're a big, like, if you focus a lot on the quotes and the shots and color theory and like all of that, if you enjoy that aspect the most in watching films, I don't think you'll like this movie because of everything that we mentioned. That was definitely lacking, I guess. I don't know who directed this, but, like, not a fan of it.
Yeah.
But I think the story itself that they made for this movie was really good, especially with what they could work with and like fit in like only an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I think they did a good job progressing it, and I think the character dynamics between almost all the characters except maybe Carrie's mom, which I think we'll talk about next, because then at the very end where we kind of really get to see a lot of her, but like the character dynamics between the high school girls and everyone like felt realistic. Like things that they were bullying like Carrie about, and how they like treated each other, how they even treated their friends. Like it felt very high school-esque in a kind of tropey way, but also like it didn't fall too much into that.
The book kind of was tropey in that way too.
That too, but like I really like how the movie kind of, and I would honestly say that they did a better job at least showing the characteristics of each character and their like certain quirks. Maybe it just helped like hearing them and seeing them, how they act, but
that always adds a different layer the books can't necessarily get.
Yeah, but I would say that I really liked all of them except Carrie was iffy, partially I think because of the script, and her mom like felt like a totally different character, which
I don't know if I would agree with that. I thought the mom was probably one of the better ones.
Yeah.
Carrie was pretty good, but I'm getting sidetracked. And the mom, I mean, she just wasn't as freaky. She was definitely like unwell throughout the whole thing. You could definitely see that.
Yeah.
She wasn't as freaky, but at the same time, like she had her moments where I was like, yeah, that's Carrie's mom. I felt like.
I felt like it was a strong start. Like the very beginning felt exactly like how the book described her, and then it just kind of dropped. And I think partially it has to do with they did not focus on her for like a while, and they had like certain scenes where she was like, go pray, whatever, and like when she picked her up from school, like the shift between her and like out in the world versus in her own home like felt like Carrie's mom, but it just didn't feel as strong, or Carrie's mom didn't feel as strong in what she believed, and I feel like partially that has to do with Carrie's mom felt like she was like the spawn of Satan from the very beginning in the book, and it kind of alludes to that in the movie, or they say that, but they never really show that until the very end when Carrie's mom sees like that she has powers, which in the book Carrie's mom knows that there's something wrong because when Carrie was a baby, she used like the rocks falling down on the house, and we didn't see any of that in the movie.
I mean, I think we did at the end.
When she was a baby.
Oh, okay.
In the book, it shows like just a baby getting upset, and then suddenly there's like a rock storm. And there were a couple other scenes as Carrie grew up where her mom like had reason to believe like her daughter has problems, and they didn't show any of Carrie's past in the movie, which kind of like at the end, as you said, it showed the rocks falling on the house. Like, what did you think that meant? Because it didn't obviously refer to when Carrie was a kid as it did in the book. So, like, it kind of came out of nowhere, in my opinion. Like, I didn't like that. I feel like they should have kept it.
Just, like, stones falling on a house, just in general, like, it raining stones, I think it has a biblical meaning. I want to say.
Okay.
I think it's, like, in Revelations, they said stones fall from the sky as heavy as talents, or whatever, and I think talents are, like, 70 pounds or something like that.
Okay, that makes sense. I was gonna say, like, is it like stoning from the old age where they just like threw stones at you? That makes more sense.
Yeah, it's biblical.
Okay, so it does still have a meaning rather than like just a repetition.
But then obviously it's very niche. Like, it's a very niche thing, and I think I only really know about that through like a random show that like mentioned it in passing. I've never even really read the Bible, so I could be totally wrong.
Yeah, people just being like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you would say that. This is in the Bible." Like,
I've read a little bit.
We've never had stones falling from the sky. But I feel like that makes sense because it doesn't also make the most sense in the book, and there were a lot of biblical things in the book, so I feel like it would make sense that is also one.
Yeah.
Because other than that, like, why are stones falling from the sky? I don't know, because it's harder than hail. Yeah. But I also, speaking of like biblical things, I liked how at the end when Carrie like throws her mom across the room and has all the knives in her.
She like crucified.
Yeah, it, like she's pinned up like on the cross, and like I like that they kept in a lot of biblical references, even though I feel like it wasn't as much as the book.
Yeah.
It was still cool to see.
Yeah.
And then
I feel like I should add this too. The only part of the movie where I was just like, it's perfect, almost perfect, or like I really enjoyed was just the scene where Carrie just like it gets the blood dumped on her and then she just starts killing everybody. I was like, that's lore accurate Carrie.
We barely even talked about that, so I guess it's good that you brought it up. That was honestly like not my favorite part.
I liked it because she was just like she finally felt in control and you could see it. The performance really carried it.
That's true.
Did it again? Oh my god.
I liked how the actress played it. I just think the CGI took me out of it. Like,
oh, was it? Honestly, I didn't even notice if it was that bad in that movie.
Or like the eye twitch. I don't know.
The blood continually falling and showing in slow-mo, that pissed me.
That too, yes. Oh my gosh, when the bucket fell, it showed it 3 times, 3 different angles, all in slow motion.
And then Kristen, one of them's like, and then it just shows like, and then like, what was it? Oh yeah, Ansel Elgort, by the way. I haven't seen that dude in a while. That's very 2013.
Yes. I didn't even think about that, but that's so true.
But yeah, so the blood falls on him or her, and then like he just gets splashed a little bit, and then the slow-mo hit, like, I don't think they really caught. They probably should have done a couple more takes, because like in the slow-mo he just kind of gets like splattered a little bit. He's like, he's just one of those like over and over again, and then like the blood fell, and then afterwards he goes, "What the hell?"
Oh my god, Ansel was in this room.
Dude,
I felt him.
What the hell?
Tommy, is that you?
And then the bucket hit him. I forgot that happened in the book for a second, because I was just like, the bucket knocked him out. Like, what is this? I'm like, oh wait, no, that does happen.
Yeah.
And then he just kind of burns up in there in the book.
I feel, Tommy.
And
I liked his character a lot.
The book death of Tommy hit a lot harder.
Oh yeah, 100%. But I still really liked Tommy.
Yeah, it was good. It was honestly good. Like, he's probably my favorite character and actor, like, selection in that movie.
Yeah.
Because that guy is, like, I forgot he was actually, like, a good actor. You know?
Yeah.
I don't
he
know.
was from-
I don't know where the hell he went. Like, he just fell off the face of the earth.
Last thing I remember him in is Baby Driver, and I can't think of anything since
Yeah,
then.
no, nothing else. I guess he made his money. He dipped.
I feel like he's probably there's gonna be like a huge fan that's like, haven't you seen him in this and this?
This is gonna be the one video to blow up, and then everybody's just like, are they stupid? Do they not follow Ansel Elgort?
Do they not follow the Bible?
Yeah, and also Ansel Elgort. That's an unfortunate name.
Ansel, I can't even say it.
Ansel Elgort.
Well, like, get it?
Sounds like a Harry Potter character.
Ansel Elgort.
Ansel Elgort.
Give your best British accent.
No.
Bro, you're going to London. Like, what do you expect?
Guys, I'm going to London.
First time.
Oh, where were we even going?
I don't know.
Anyways, good choice. I like this character. Carrie, her character in that, not the worst. I think they got the essence of her for the most part. The actress, I've seen her before. She's pretty good.
What is she in?
Oh, don't ask me that.
Oh my gosh. I do recognize her from, I can't remember what it is, but yes, I have recognized her and seen her in something, but I also kept thinking she looks like, oh my god, I can't remember the names. In Stranger Things, the 11 and, why can't I remember, like, the redhead? Sam, yes, I think.
Is it? I might not be right.
No.
Max.
Yeah. Both are like unisex names. Max and 11. She looks like a cross between the two of them.
Yeah, no, honestly.
Like, I'm not even kidding. And I kept thinking, like, what am I watching? I got feeling tripped up. And then you also mentioned, like, I didn't tell you that I saw that, and you mentioned Stranger Things earlier.
Yeah.
About, like, the supernatural.
No, and you know.
I think you were just seeing that actress, and you were like, Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Well.
And I just want to take a second and say, like, you remember that whole scene with Max where she's been, like, basically taken over by Vecna?
Yeah.
And then, like, it has that Kate something song.
Yeah, the running up the hill or whatever.
Yeah. That is one of the best Stranger Things scenes.
By far.
And one of the best scenes I've seen in a hot minute. It's so emotional. It's so good. I love that season was.
I watched the first season, loved when it first came out, loved it. Started the second season when it came out and just like dropped off. And so the second and third season I just didn't care about. And the fourth season with all the memes, like I finally was like, I want to get on this. And oh my god, it was so worth it. Like I'm so glad.
So good because the last season they had was not the best. Wasn't bad.
Right. But that
then,
carried.
Oh my god, it made it so good. So yeah, we'll pick up for a little bit. I guess we'll kind of explain. We were talking off camera about this a little bit because we're talking about Stranger Things. Because we basically are done with the movie Carrie. Like I think we went over everything, but now I kind of want to rant about Stranger Things and about Stephen King for a little bit.
Yeah, it still ties in a little bit.
It does. So my biggest thing was, this is a good adaptation. Everything tying it into this new combo. But I love the fact. So a lot of people probably don't know this, but the Duffer Brothers, when they made Stranger Things, they drew a lot of inspiration from the book It, and because it's like a coming of age film, coming of age book.
Right.
So they basically took that whole sort of plot and like character dynamics from kids, just kind of like fighting the supernatural enemy,
right?
And they spun it into their own thing,
right?
And I really appreciate Stranger Things for the fact that like they can take something like that and they don't have to try to adapt the movie It or the book It.
Right, they're not taking it word for word exactly and making their own.
Yeah, exactly. They're not saying like this is an adaptation of It. They're saying this is inspired by this work and we're making it into our own thing. And I think more people in Hollywood should just like do that.
Right.
Don't try to make
from what has worked already. Like take aspects, find things that you enjoy about these books or these movies, and you can spin it in your own way, but like you don't have to think of something completely new to be like creative or make it a masterpiece. Like you can still be inspired by other creators
Yeah.
and still be creative yourself.
That and like I was just thinking of it in the sense of like adaptations. Like if you're gonna make an adaptation, be faithful to the source material, and it's not your story, so just tell their
Right.
story. You know.
If you're like, if your goal is to make the adaptation of this specific book or whatever it is, like yeah, you don't have to pretend that it's your own or like add things to make it your own. Like just go with what has worked if that's your goal. And but if you are just inspired by a story, kind of like, who are they? The something
Duffer Brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you want to take parts that worked from that, or like just the tone or whatever it is, like take little aspects that you like and then create your own story behind that. That doesn't make you any less of a artist or creator or whatever.
Because I think all people do that. You can't be completely original.
Right. Yeah,
It's damn near impossible.
Yeah, especially with the ever growing like technology and just more things being added. Like over time, there's just more and more art being made in all sorts of forms.
There's just a larger pool of people.
That too.
A bigger group of talent, I guess.
Yeah, and we have more because of our like technological advancement. We have more like time to actually be like spending on these arts. Like it doesn't just have to be hunter gatherer anymore. Like we have the ability to do creative things. So.
Yeah, and I don't know, like, and like, not to say this is a bad adaptation at all, but like, we just kind of ranted earlier just because like I just thought like that was so cool that they were inspired by the, I guess, source material in a sense, where like they got the idea for that series, but it's their own thing. It's a separate thing. It's not taking the name of it or anything,
Right.
but I feel like it has the essence.
Yeah, I didn't even like, it's its own thing in the way that like I didn't realize that it was inspired by it, but like knowing that now I can see certain aspects, certain characteristics that could come from that, and just Stephen King's writing in general.
Yeah, coming of age story, a bunch of kids fighting an ancient supernatural enemy,
And just being Southern, right?
Yep, small town feels. That is like my safe space in movies. I love it.
You should move to a small town. Get out of here.
Honestly.
I don't want to see you. You should move to a town that's like just you.
You're right.
So I don't have to deal with you.
Yeah, no, but do you feel the same way? Like when it has a small town setting?
I feel like, I don't necessarily, I wouldn't say that it's like my kind of, preference in that kind of, or like safe zone, but like I definitely like it. I appreciate it, especially in like a TV show, because I feel like you get more character out of the town itself in that way. If you're in New York City, you get character because it's, traffic
New
is
York.
one. But like everyone knows, it's not
Walking
adding anything new because everyone's seen it enough where we get it. So like small town, I feel like you can add different quirks and it be original, and I do like that, but I don't necessarily prefer it.
I love it.
I'm a city girl. City girly.
City girl. Spelled Gorl.
Well, how else are you going to spell it? That's what I thought. You don't understand. You're a country boy.
Got my dipper and my lipper. Should we just end this?
Okay, bye.
On that note.
Yeah, final words.
But yeah, do you want to say anything final about Carrie, the movie?
Let's check my notes. Have been checked. No, I think I said my piece. I'd say go watch it. If you want a more modern Carrie, go watch it.
Nope, don't do it. You can go watch it. It's alright. I didn't like
We'll
it.
agree to disagree.
Yeah.
Even though I totally convinced you that it was good, right?
Yep.
All right. If you Well, I don't know where that was going.
Subscribe, yeah.
Subscribe. Tune in next week to our next book that we'll be covering.
Which is Perks
It's on the wall.
Is it?
No.
Oh.
Gotcha. But, like, get it because it's It's like...
Perks of being wallflower.
It's like quirks of being, like, a column, a floral.
I need to buy that book.
Oh my god. So tune in next week where I will have the book finished and Alex will still be waiting for it to be delivered. Okay, you're lucky it's a short one.
I know.
All right, let us know if you're excited for our next book and let us know how you felt about the Carrie novel or movie. And
Our 7 viewers.
Also, let us know if you want us to cover the 1976 version of the movie.
Yeah, I'd be down to.
We'll be down to, like, kind of release maybe a bonus episode. It might be shorter, just because we won't do as many comparisons. Just say, like, hey, this is what we thought. Let us know. And I think that's it.
Yeah.
Peace out.
Peace.
So 2013.